It's just a matter of logistics at this point in regards to whatever thing that have been working on coming in for you, whether that's like something financially related or relationship wise, or even like, I don't know, like a major step in regards to like your education or something like that, or even when it comes to getting approved for a house or an apartment or a car even, or if you're working on some contract being finalized, or even like a legal situation. Okay, I'm getting that like the decision and all of that has already been made and will not be like tarnished or impaired with or whatever. So you may have this fear that, the more time passes, something else could come up to sort of sabotage the decision being in your favor in some way, but that's not the case. It's literally like, and on a spiritual level, okay, so this could apply to like something needing to unfold logistically, like on a spiritual level, or literally in the physical, So, like, if it's more of a physical level sort of thing, it could be, I don't know, say you've already gotten approved for your offer, right? But they just haven't written up the paperwork yet and filed it and gotten all of that, I don't know how that works, but you know what I mean? But they're not going to go back on their decision when it comes to choosing you in some way. It's giving like, oh, the loan has already been approved. Now they just have to like do like, again, it's just giving like paperwork and some sort of procedure, okay? And this could, I don't know why, because I said procedure, so I don't know if you were like, if you have to apply to get certain surgeries, like if you have to get approved. So I don't know, the only thing that I can think of is, if you have to get weight loss surgery, you kind of have to meet certain criteria to be approved for that or something. Or if you're trying to get on a certain medication and you have to meet certain like, I don't know, diagnostic criteria for that, to be able to get on something that would help you significantly, right? So this could even be like if you went and got tested for autism or ADHD, like I'm getting that again, you're going to get whatever you need. It's just a matter of the paperwork at this time. But on a spiritual level, it's giving like, if you're somebody who knows that you're like fated for certain things, and if I'm not really gonna like explain how you would be aware of that or whatever. It's sort of like, I would say that like there aren't any more lessons you need to learn. I know there's a lot of messages going around about that, and it can be frustrating when you're always like, oh, what else do I need to learn and stuff like that. I think that you were just naturally, because you honestly could have recently been in the midst of a tower moment and not even been sort of consciously aware of it, because you've been through so much worse in your past, okay? And you're never going to have to go through anything as bad as your past, right? Like your life is literally taking a 180. It's just that, when people say that, maybe it makes you feel like, so the energy switches immediately, but your circumstances may take a little while to shift. So it's like, you're 1 degree opposite of like the reality you used to be in. Then you're like, 5 degrees and 10 degrees, and it goes like all the way until you're 108, like at the opposite end. But obviously it happens like incrementally. So you could like mistake that for nothing happening, but then obviously as the more time passes, the more drastic and significant the differences in your reality, okay? But if it's in regards to like, so say for example somebody is fated to like win the lottery, okay? I don't know, just like the $200 million lottery, and that's like destined for somebody, because obviously, you know what I mean. But in order for you to like this person to align with like their highest timeline in regards to like when they get that money, it will be like they will be able to use it to the best of their ability. Like it will actually change their life for the better, instead of those stories you hear about people who like, you know what I mean, like they blow all that money or whatever, or like they get taken advantage of or even hurt by their family members and stuff like that. So it's sort of like the procedure needed to happen. Like it's already been sort of confirmed that you will win, okay? But there were like steps to that actually being released toward for you, so that the best case scenario will happen, okay? Like uh you know I don't know, it's almost giving like, this is just an example, right? Like say if you were destined to come into a certain amount of money, right? And then like the divine made a relationship fall apart because that person was going to you know what I mean? Like they didn't deserve to be in your life, for some reason or another when you came into this wealth or whatever. Um, you know what I mean? Like ending like long-term relationships, marriages even, like it's like the clearing needs to happen so that, you know, it's giving the sense of like somebody going through something legally and that legal situation being needing to be finalized on a spiritual level just so that nobody can like take what is yours, right? So it's like certain things being finalized and squared away, and then like right after you come into your abundance so that it doesn't like affect it whatsoever. And I know that can be really annoying, so it could be, again, you know it's sort of like waiting for certain things to be, again, I don't know, signed on the dotted line, so to speak, so that it cannot affect what's coming in for you whatsoever, right? So that nobody can take it from you, no one can um claim to have any sort of like, I guess, claim over what's coming in for you at all. um you know what I mean? And it doesn't have to be like a legal situation, right? It could just be you needing to have a bunch of people like exposed around you, right? And like that's not always in a bad way, right? It's sometimes you need to, because like I know sometimes when you come into a lot of success or whatever, people can like fall into paranoia of, saying, oh, I can't trust anybody, not even my day ones. But there's this energy of people being exposed to you either for like the better or the worse, right? So like you're learning the people you actually can trust, you know and then so when you actually like become successful, you will know, okay, this person actually sort of deserves to be in my life still, because they've proven themselves time and time and time again. You know what I mean? Because you're not supposed to cut everybody off, but obviously a lot of the collective, had a lot of people that didn't have their best interest in heart, or had very, very conditional, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't, honestly, seeing somebody close to you can't like blow up in some way, right? Can bring out like an ugly side of people who are otherwise really, pure intentioned or whatever. And so, but you know what I mean? I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I'm getting that the whole like palette has been cleansed or whatever. So there's not. I think you already have clarity in regards to who you can trust and who you can't. Like, you already know this. You already know. Okay. So don't question this. It's honestly, at this time you may just be exercising, like practicing boundaries, okay? Because there's going to be people who apologize to you, and maybe their apologies are sincere, but they're sincere only because they see what they could have had if they had just, been down for you the whole time, right? So, but is that song like It's Too Late to Apologize? Obviously people feel remorseful if they see what they're missing out on, you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that their remorse is coming from the right place. Like, do they actually feel bad for hurting you, or do they feel bad that they're missing out, you know what I mean? So the energy of remorse can be genuine, but it's just like, what are their reasons for feeling bad, but I'm also getting like, again, on the other side of it, I think that you have gained clarity in regards to certain people who you actually can trust, like with your life. Because I think that, like, people who, I don't know, it's like people who, even when you, at a time where you were very wounded, they like saw you at your core and were sort of like understanding of those wounds, and like loved you enough just for who you are to sort of like, I don't know, like hold your hand through the storm, you know what I mean? Not at the expense of themselves, right? But I don't know, it's something about like you just know who you can trust and who you can't or whatever, right? But yeah, I'm seeing like, because I'm seeing it as like a, I don't know, like a thing with like arrows dictating like, okay, this has to happen and this is getting checked off. This has to happen and this is getting checked off. But it's like you're very rapidly checking off everything that you need to do, like the whole checklist, you know? Um, I don't know. I'm seeing in like some video games or whatever, you have to have like different steps of things before you like complete an overall quest or whatever. And like, yeah, you're quickly checking off everything and you're going to gain the reward basically. And then, it like releases access to whatever your abundance is, and that's going to be different for everybody.